Good day. I'm Jim Wright with the Longhorn Historical Society, and I'm enjoying the sweet life in front of the Sugar Hill City Hall in downtown Sugar Hill. I have a special episode for you as I'm going to get exclusive access to talk with the mayor about the origin and purpose of city government and how the government gets revenue. So sit back and enjoy this conversation I had with the mayor of Sugar Hill, Brandon Hembree. Here we go. Thank you for meeting with me.
Glad to do it.
How you doing today?
I'm well. It's been a busy day, but a fun day.
I can imagine being the mayor is a very demanding job.
The term for mayor is 4 years.
4 years.
And at least in Sugar Hill, you can serve an unlimited number of terms.
Okay. Very cool. Very cool. And we've talked about that in the class where, different positions. The governor can only serve, 2 terms of 4 years, but the lieutenant governor can have unlimited terms, and, the president, so on and so forth. So we've had this conversation about terms in government. And I was just, when we talk about local government, it doesn't really go into much depth on, how long is a mayor's term and whatnot.
Each local government's different. So in Georgia, we have 536 cities, and they all are set up and structured in a different way. Some have 2-year term limits, others 4-year term limits. The charter is essentially our constitution, and it would be comparable to the state constitution that we have here for Georgia, as well as our federal constitution. And so if you're familiar with those two, it essentially establishes the structure of government that we have and the processes and procedures that we are to abide by when we govern as a city.
Okay. So it would have articles in it and legislative branch.
That's correct.
Okay. And what's the name of the legislative branch in city government?
In city government, it is the city council itself. That's correct.
All right, very good. And you are the executive.
That's correct.
Because you are the mayor.
Yes.
What would be the judicial branch in that regard?
Well, we do have a judicial branch, and so in Sugar Hill we have a municipal court.
Okay.
We have a judge. Her name is Margaret Washburn, and she presides over our municipal court, which we have once a month. Some cities have it more frequently.
Okay. What are some services that's in the charter that the city of Sugar Hill would provide?
That's great, and that's actually a very interesting question because I didn't talk about that being a component of our charter, but the charter also defines the services that we provide as a city. And so some examples of services might be a police department.
Okay.
We don't have a police department, but we have a marshal's office, which is allowed through our charter. We are also in Sugar Hill a gas provider, a natural gas provider, and so we have a natural gas utility that services around 14,000 residents in the area. Some in the city of Sugar Hill and some outside of the Sugar Hill, outside of the city limits of Sugar Hill. We do things like parks and recreation. That's another service that a city can provide. We have a stormwater department. We have a street department, and they all play a different role in making sure that our city is a great place to live.
And when we talked in class, we talked about how, if you see the emblem for Sugar Hill, the tree, that's a park that is managed by the city.
That's right.
Whereas, E.E. Robinson would be something managed by
the county. That's
or
correct.
whatever the case may be, and you would see the Gwinnett logo for that county. Are there any services that kind of bridge, or may overlap city and county government?
Yeah. So every so many years or so, we actually do a service delivery agreement with the county, and that determines the services that we provide to the residents that live within the city limits, and also the services that the county might provide to our residents. And so we have a number of different roads, different ownership responsibility for roads in our community. One example is that we are responsible for any roads that are within subdivisions that are within the city limits. The county, to a large degree, has responsibility for all the other streets and roads that go through the city, other than those that might be owned and maintained by the state of Georgia.
Cool.
And there are other things that the county does. They all obviously provide water. They have the water utility for the entire county, and so they provide water to our residents. And they, for us at least, we have an agreement with them to provide police services in our community. And so currently we are one of several cities in Gwinnett County that does not have our own police department, and so we have to contract with the county in order to receive those services for our residents.
So they kind of loan out.
They do.
Kind of loan out a police force, if you will.
That's correct.
And you said there's a marshal, right?
We have a marshal, which is a separate entity. Our marshals do not do the full service that a police department provides. They're mostly focused on community engagement activities. It's a great question, and it's pretty uniform across the state how cities and counties acquire the money to do what they do. Our main sources of revenue for the city of Sugar Hill are through property taxes, and we have we call it a millage rate, which is a tax rate, and ours is 3.69 mils, and it's complicated how the formula works, but that is our tax rate. And so residents within the Sugar Hill, they pay property taxes on an annual basis, just like they do to the county and to the school system. We also have a SPLOST agreement with Gwinnett County. SPLOST is a special purpose local option sales tax, and it is essentially a penny sales tax on every dollar that comes in for a product that's sold anywhere in the county. And all of the cities have a sharing agreement with the county. There are limitations on what we can use SPLOST funds for. Primarily it has to be for capital projects, and that could be for buildings and roads or parks or things like that. So it's limited, but the SPLOST funds really help us do a lot of the quality of life things that are necessary for our residents to kind of have a good place to live. We also generate some revenue through our gas utility. We have a golf course, and residents will pay a fee. Residents and non-residents will pay a fee to play golf, and we generate a little bit of revenue from that. And then we also generate a little bit of revenue through like business licenses and alcohol license sales, which are all kind of normal functions of a city. The great thing about SPLOST funds is that they're also paid by the penny sales tax is paid by people that visit Gwinnett County, and I've heard that about 70% of the SPLOST funds that come in actually don't come from the residents of Sugar Hill. They come from people that are passing through, or that are shopping, or that are visiting Gwinnett County. So,
wow. Which kind of returns on itself when you bring people, when you build things to bring people here.
Right.
Kind of keeps building and building and
That's
building.
true, and we ultimately benefit from
Yeah,
it.
that's awesome.
There are a lot of things that I would like people to know about Sugar Hill, but first and foremost, I want people to know that it's a great place to live. It's a great place to call home. I would also love for people to know that Out of the 16 cities that are in Gwinnett County, that you would have a choice to choose if you decided to move to Gwinnett County. There's some things that make us really unique in comparison to everybody else. One is our amazing history, and I think it's been forgotten over the years, but it's quickly being rediscovered. We, in the past, were a community known for not just gold mining, but also moonshining.
Yep.
And I think that's really a unique story to tell in comparison to all the other cities. The other thing that I want people to know about Sugar Hill is that we still have a lot of green space left. We are very fortunate to be below Buford Dam, but our entire western border is composed of the Chattahoochee River National Recreation Area. There are hiking trails, there are kayaking opportunities, there are opportunities to fish, not only in Lake Lanier, but in the river itself. And if you're looking for a place where you can invest your life, but also be close to Atlanta, but have the amenities that a lot of mountain towns have, Sugar Hill is the place to be. Yeah, and if you are a Lanier Middle School student, you're right there. You're within a stone's throw of all of that. So
It's a great resource.
yeah, yes,
All right. Well, I want to thank you for your time, Mayor Hembree,
of course.
and I want you to have a great day. And
Thank
let's
you.
do this again.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you. Hey, see you all later. This is Jim Wright on location. Have a wonderful day.